In this video, we will explore mechanical energy and solve some numerical examples. We will state the principle of the conservation of energy. We will then define mechanical energy and give examples of systems where the total mechanical energy is conserved. One of the most important principles in science is the conservation of energy. We use the term system to describe the selection of objects that we are considering. Think of this like drawing a line around every object that we care about. Moreover, we use the term surroundings for everything outside of this system that we don't want to consider. We can now state the principle of the conservation of energy. It states that the total energy of an isolated system is constant. In an isolated system, no energy or mass can be transferred between the system and its surroundings. So the mass of these objects and any energy they have, whether it be kinetic energy or potential energy, will remain constant in this system. Another way of stating this principle is that energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be transferred from one type of energy to another. Now we may think that in the real world, everything seems to lose energy. For example, a ball rolling across a rough floor will slowly lose kinetic energy and come to a stop, which seems to violate the conservation of energy. But this is because the ball is not isolated from the rough floor. If instead we consider the ball and the floor together as the isolated system, the kinetic energy lost by the ball has been gained by the floor as thermal energy, keeping the total energy constant. Thermal energy is considered as wasted energy as it cannot do any useful work on other objects, and we describe this as dissipated energy. We will now look at mechanical energy, which is defined as the sum of an object's energies due to its motion and its position. Recall that kinetic energy is the energy an object possesses due to its motion and has the following equation. Also recall that the energy associated with an object's position is called potential energy, and we have seen two types, namely gravitational potential energy and elastic potential energy. Combining these equations together, we can calculate the mechanical energy of an object as the sum of its kinetic energy, gravitational potential energy, and elastic potential energy. In order for mechanical energy to be conserved, only conservative forces can do work on the system. Two important aspects of conservative forces are that the work done on an object by these forces is independent of the path taken by the object, and the work done by such forces is reversible. Two examples of conservative forces are the gravitational force and spring force. Any energy stored can be recovered again. Resistive forces, like friction and air resistance, will often cause mechanical energy to be dissipated because they do negative work on objects, and are often described as non-conservative. So in the absence of non-conservative forces, the total mechanical energy of a system is conserved. As an example of mechanical energy conservation, let's consider a person jumping on a trampoline, and our isolated system will consist of the person, the springs of the trampoline, and the earth. At the highest point of the person's bounce, gravitational potential energy is maximized while kinetic energy and elastic potential energy are zero. As the person descends, gravitational potential energy decreases and kinetic energy increases. Once the jumper reaches the trampoline, energy begins to be transferred into elastic potential energy stored in the trampoline springs, while kinetic and gravitational potential energy will decrease. At the lowest point, the jumper comes to a stop. The springs will be maximally stretched and elastic potential energy will be maximized. The springs then convert elastic potential energy back into kinetic and gravitational potential energy to propel the jumper upward. Trampoline jumping involves continuous transfers of energy between kinetic energy, gravitational potential energy, and elastic potential energy, but the total mechanical energy remains constant provided that no resistive forces act on the system. In a real-world scenario, air resistance and frictional forces in the trampoline would act on the system, and so mechanical energy would not be conserved. So the jumper has to do work with their legs to keep bouncing and to compensate for the dissipated energy. Let's now solve some numerical examples. The general approach to use is to determine what types of energy exist at the start of the scenario and what types exist at the end, and then equate the two. In our first example, we want to calculate the maximum height reached by the tennis ball. Mechanical energy will be conserved as we are neglecting air resistance, and no elastic potential energy is involved in this problem. So the ball's initial kinetic and gravitational potential energy will be equal to the ball's kinetic and gravitational potential energy at its maximum height. The ball will have zero kinetic energy at the maximum height, and as we are only concerned with changes in gravitational potential energy, we can assume that the ball's initial gravitational potential energy is also zero. We can then use the formulas for kinetic and gravitational potential energy and rearrange to find the maximum height. Substituting in the relevant values then gives 8.62 meters for the height reached by the ball. Note that this question could also have been solved with the uniform acceleration Suvat equations. This second example involves elastic potential energy, as we want to calculate the compression of the spring after this ball has moved up the ramp and come to rest. Recall that mechanical energy is the sum of kinetic and potential energy. Initially, there is zero elastic potential energy, and we can assume the ball's gravitational potential energy is zero, so the ball only has kinetic energy. Substituting the relevant values gives 26.9 joules for the initial mechanical energy of the system. When the ball stops at the spring, there is zero kinetic energy, so the final mechanical energy only consists of gravitational and elastic potential energy. We can then derive an expression for this which involves the compression of the spring delta x. Without frictional forces, these two mechanical energies will be equal to each other from energy conservation. We can then rearrange this as follows and find that the compression of the spring is equal to 0.23 meters. In this third example, we now have to take friction into account in our calculations. Recall that the work done by a force is given by the following equation. Friction acts in the opposite direction to the displacement of the box, so theta will be 180 degrees and the work done by friction will be negative. As in the previous example, we can calculate the initial mechanical energy by assuming the box has zero gravitational potential energy, and so the box only has kinetic energy equal to 181.44 joules. When the box stops, there is only gravitational potential energy, which can be calculated as 82.32 joules. Since friction is a non-conservative force, the total mechanical energy is not conserved. Instead, the work done by non-conservative forces like friction is equal to the change in the total mechanical energy. We can now substitute in the expression for the work done by friction, along with the calculated mechanical energies. Finally, the magnitude of the friction force can be determined by dividing the change in mechanical energy by the displacement of the box, 2.4 meters, giving a value of 41.3 newtons. We will now provide a final summary of the key understandings from this video. We saw that the principle of the conservation of energy states that the total energy of an isolated system is constant. Alternatively, it can be stated as energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be transferred from one type of energy to another. We define mechanical energy as the sum of an object's energies due to its motion and its position, so it is equal to the sum of its kinetic energy, gravitational potential energy, and elastic potential energy. Moreover, in the absence of non-conservative forces, the total mechanical energy of a system is conserved. This now concludes our video on mechanical energy. Thank you for watching.